This case opens inside a tense courtroom where even the smallest action can trigger serious consequences. A defendant is already under strict court supervision, and what should be a routine hearing quickly turns into a high alert situation. The judge is visibly frustrated, the deputies are on edge, and the rules inside the courtroom are being enforced with zero tolerance. What starts as a discussion about legal compliance quickly escalates into warnings about prison time, restrictions, and immediate consequences for any disruption. One wrong move here doesn't just mean a warning, it could mean being sent straight back into custody. The atmosphere is heavy, controlled, and unpredictable. And as we move forward, the question becomes, how did things reach a point where a courtroom needed this level of control just to stay orderly?
Client keeps talking. One, he's talked to his mom, and now he's talking, and he keeps saying "my bad," but he's not learning. And he's talking to the inmate in the box. That's not allowed. If you continue, you know what's going to end up happening? You're going to get sent back, and we'll see you when we see you. There is not to be any speaking to each other in the box. There's not to be speaking to family members in the audience. If you want a visitation with your family members, they'll have to do it at the jail. Those are the rules. The deputies are in charge of security. They're already on high alert, and you're just making them on even a higher alert. Tasers can and will be used. Does everybody understand?
This moment in court highlights just how strict courtroom security protocols really are. The judge shuts down all communication between the defendant, family members, and even other inmates in the holding box. The reason is simple but serious. Any unauthorized communication can disrupt proceedings or even escalate safety risks. The judge makes it clear, if these rules continue to be ignored, consequences will follow immediately, including being removed from court and sent back into custody. Even tasers are mentioned as a last resort enforcement tool, which shows just how high tensions are in this environment. Legally, this isn't just about behavior, it's about maintaining courtroom integrity and security order. Courts operate under strict procedural control, and violations like talking during proceedings can be interpreted as contempt or noncompliance with court instructions. But here's the dramatic tension. Is a defendant truly being defiant, or simply overwhelmed and not fully understanding the seriousness of his actions? And viewers, what do you think? Should courts show more flexibility in moments like this, or is strict enforcement the only way to maintain control?
Yeah. Well, here's the thing.
I mean, I'm not.
Some people, no, let me just explain something to you. There are laws. Sometimes officers will give you a pass, but they most definitely will not give you a pass if you're being disrespectful.
And I was.
So, yeah. So maybe if you were not disrespectful, we wouldn't even be here. Guess
Yeah.
what? You would have just had a ticket for drinking alcohol in public.
I've thought about that so many times.
Yeah. And so you're not allowed to do that. You're not allowed to drink alcohol on the bus. And guess what? People who are on the bus, get the thing. Here's the thing. People are on the bus. They don't want to be sitting next to somebody drinking alcohol from a paper bag. That's just the way it is. And then after he tells you you're not allowed to drink alcohol, according to the steps, you continue to drink alcohol in front of him. Then he tells you you have 3 other active warrants. And then you get angry. And then you start calling him names. And then what do you do? You empty the beer on the sidewalk and throw the can in the street, which he rightfully so told you that's littering, which, by the way, people, please stop littering. The fact that you're smoking a cigarette and you put it on the ground and stomp it out, that's still littering. You know,
Yes,
nobody wants to clean up after you.
Mhm.
All right. Do you have any children?
I have a daughter. She's 26 and 4 grandkids.
All right.
Little boys.
And how old are your grandchildren?
8, 6, 5, and 4.
All right. And do you live by yourself?
I stay at the Haven for Hope program right now. Ever since COVID, I was a supervisor for UPS, and I kind of I went through a bad relationship, and I was in a depression, and I was doing drugs and alcohol. But I already learned my lesson, and I want to get back to supervising. I'm going to try to be a supervisor at Amazon. It's a new one they opened over there.
All right. And what drugs were you using when you were using?
I was using meth, drinking beer and alcohol, and I was smoking marijuana. I wouldn't intervene anything, like shoot up, but I was smoking and snorting methamphetamine, which was my downfall mainly.
Okay,
But I kind of know.
all right. And did you have an allergic reaction?
Yes, I have eczema, but they don't give me the medicine, and yeah, I was only using Vaseline.
Okay.
It's like it dries up, and when the dry skin comes up, it turns red.
No, I just wanted to make sure your health was okay.
I'm good. I'm good. Right now I currently work on Higher Quest. It's a temp service, and I plan on going back there and being at the courtyard. I even follow to get right back. I'm with the CHCS. I have counselors. I have a doctor for my medication because I have mood disorders and everything. But everything's over. I just got to go and check in as soon as I get
All
out
right,
of
so
here.
you know you have to follow rules.
Yes,
And you were having a hard time following rules in the box with speaking to the people in the audience, then speaking to other inmates in the box. You have got to internalize what rules are. And I know you know what the rules are, and you got to follow those. Otherwise, if you don't, there are going to be consequences.
This is a turning point of the hearing where everything becomes official. The court delivers a deferred adjudication sentence, meaning the defendant is not immediately convicted, but must strictly follow conditions set by the court for probation-like period. A $1,500 fine is imposed, but it is probated, meaning payment terms are structured rather than immediate full collection. However, this is not a free pass. The conditions attached are extremely strict. Legally, deferred adjudication means a defendant must comply with all court rules, treatment requirements, and supervision conditions. If he violates any term, the court can immediately proceed with sentencing on the original charge. The emotional weight here is also clear. The defendant tries to express willingness to change, talks about getting his life back on track, employment, and family responsibilities. But the judge's message is consistent throughout. Past behavior matters, and compliance moving forward is the only thing that can prevent harsher consequences. So the real question is, does this kind of sentence truly rehabilitate someone, or does it just delay inevitable punishment if behavior doesn't change?
Let me say, your mom would send me in an envelope like $40. I'd be like, yay.
Exactly. Like, I mean, that was a tank
Yeah.
of gas and snacks.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I rode the bus, but I'll tell you this. At St. Mary's, the guy who worked the cafeteria was so nice to me. I'll never forget him because what he would do is he would let me eat all week, and then I would pay him at the end of the week.
Oh, nice. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
So I'm like, yay.
Nice.
Hi.
Did you live on campus?
Yes, I lived in Charles Francis.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I didn't.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, so the undergraduates, I forgot what campus they lived on, but I lived in Charles Francis, and you would walk up.
As this hearing wraps up, the courtroom experience leaves a clear message. Structure, discipline, and accountability are non-negotiable. The defendant walks away under deferred adjudication with financial penalties and strict supervision conditions, but also under warning that any violation could escalate the case immediately into full sentencing. The judge's concerns remain centered on trust, compliance, and public safety, especially given prior behavior and repeated boundary violations discussed in court. Legally, this case highlights how deferred adjudication works as both an opportunity and a test. It gives a defendant a chance to avoid conviction, but only if every condition is followed without failure. Emotionally, it's a courtroom filled with tension between second chances and strict enforcement. The judge is firm, the defense is pleading for leniency, and the defendant is caught between accountability and redemption. Now the question for you, do you think the court made the right call in giving another chance under strict conditions, or should harsher sentencing have been applied immediately? If you found this case as intense and revealing as we did, make sure to hit that like button, drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more real courtroom breakdowns and shocking legal moments.